So in many ways, the anxiety that is around these issues, around periods, around toilets, around sexual wellness, are there because there are lack of conversations, and because there is a lack of conversation, the products haven't evolved.
When you say lack of conversation, is the lack of conversation within the family, with the
Everywhere,
husband, or
everywhere.
like,
Yeah.
which is the missing link? Like, is it in the education system? Hello everyone, my name is Pranav Vashistha, and this is the Gut Feel Show, a podcast on mental well-being, where we invite guests from all walks of life to discuss different aspects of mental well-being in their profession and in their life. Our today's guest is Mr. Deep Bajaj. He's the founder and CEO of Sirona, which has multiple famous products in the female category. One of them is Peabody. And we discussed how his company provides products which help females step out of their home without anxiety and stress. Because when it comes to public toilets, there are none in India. We also discussed with Deep about his journey as an entrepreneur and his struggles and his advice to the budding entrepreneurs of India. Please keep watching till the end and subscribe us for more such interesting content. Hello Deep, welcome to the Gut Feel Show. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
I want to start this podcast with this question: that how did you enter the female hygiene space? How did it all begin?
It's a very boring story. I think it's been said many times over. It was serendipity, my friend. I think it was just by chance that I stumbled upon the category. Though I do joke that my parents knew it from the start, and I'll tell you the joke
Okay,
later.
okay.
But how the discovery of the category happened was because of a road trip.
Okay.
We were four couples traveling from Delhi to Jaipur, and girls were not drinking anything, and boys were drinking whatever they could get their hands on. And the reason why girls were not drinking was not even water, because if they would have water, they would have had to use the washroom.
Yeah.
And washrooms on the highways becomes too tricky, not only in India, for
I'm
that
sure.
matter,
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah.
And I was joking around, and I said that God loved men more because see how bodies have been made
Yeah.
so convenient. We can stand in pee anywhere.
Easier to use.
Every second trees are urinal. So uh, hearing that, a friend's wife suggested that बस India है तो इसलिए ऐसा है. Otherwise, she had seen someone in Europe use a contraption to stand in pee.
Okay.
So somewhere while everybody laughed it off, that thought stayed with me because of I would say three reasons. One, professional, because before this road trip from 2006 till 2010, I was in events. We used to organize these large scale concerts and events, and there keeping the portable toilets clean was
yeah.
very difficult. I had seen this
Absolutely.
problem.
We have faced it. We have all faced it.
The second and the third were more personal. I had seen during pregnancy, during our pregnancy, that it gets very difficult for women in the last trimester.
I think the anxiety in pregnancies are at a different level. I've
Absolutely.
seen that from my wife as well.
Yeah. And I think for us, it was even worse because we'd had one miscarriage before our first daughter because of UTI.
Okay.
So, second time around, she was far more paranoid. And my mother had arthritis in her knees. So, though we got her knees replaced, even later when she had to travel, even right now when she travels, she needs her seat to be raised to a certain height for her to be able to use it. So, I had these three things that I was going through or I had gone through till 2013. So when this thing was just laughed off as one of the things, I thought, well, professionally, it's a product that should be here. Personally, during pregnancy and then during this arthritis episode, I had seen how women are struggling. Why is it not here? Why are Indian women still, making do with having to find a clean toilet to relieve themselves? So that's where I thought I'll come back and do something about it. And hence Peabody was born. Peabody became India's first stand-in pee device for women. And from there, I think one thing led to another, and more as this was a taboo, and I started talking about Indian women standing in peeing. A product like Peabody being used as an alternate to avoiding toilets. So people started talking. I was far more open to discussing it. So from toilets moved to period hygiene, from period hygiene moved to intimate hygiene.
But when you started this, when you started Peabody, I'm sure you must have, you have your personal experience in this space, your travel and your wife's pregnancy. Apart from this, what is the female anxiety and stress that happens? It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
I've seen it with my wife. Can you elaborate? What is the stress and anxiety when it comes to public toilets or any toilet outside, and for that matter?
Well, I would say there is. Okay, so what does Sirona do today? We made a list of issues that women face right from puberty to menopause, and the issues that we go after are the ones which are unaddressed.
Okay.
They're unaddressed because there is no conversation around it. Because there is no conversation around it, there are no solutions.
Yeah.
And this lack of solution is something that makes everyday life comparatively more difficult for women than it is for men, and that is something that causes anxiety. Like if you and I have to travel anywhere, Jaipur, I mean from here anywhere around India or across the world, it's very easy, especially within India, for us to go anywhere.
Yes.
Toilets is the last thing that we even think about.
We don't. Absolutely.
Periods is the last thing we don't suffer. During, and there are women who have the PMS is real.
Yeah.
There are mood swings that happen. There are all kinds of things because body is going through. It's a change every month. It happens as a cycle, and we don't experience it, so it's not a handicap for us. But for women, both these issues are very big issues. So their life is planned around finding solutions and be able to work with them, and that causes obviously anxiety. If you're on your period, for example, and if there's a very critical meeting and you're going through pain, you would never be in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It puts them at a disadvantage. They need a solution. If today, because of wearing pads, if you have to travel out, let's say on your period, and your pad is not a very comfortable one, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, it starts to give you rashes. It's not something that we experience, but it gives anxiety to that lady. So
it's difficult to talk about it because there's a lot of taboo around this thing, and people just although we've come very far, but I think it's still a lot of awareness that is needed. It is a lot of awareness.
Miles to go, yeah. I think so. There's some of the products that we came up with. I'm shocked that in this year, in this day and age, we were the first ones to launch it. Like we do say daag achhe hain, but period stains have been happening for so many years. There's nothing for it.
Yeah.
So we came up with India's first period stain remover. Is it something that I'm proud of?
There was this Padman movie also. I think a lot of dogma कि बात नहीं करनी है, इसको बोलना नहीं है, या फिर इसको share नहीं करना है, something which is stopping.
और बात भी बहुत superficial हो रही है. आप देखो, बात सिर्फ पीरियड में पैड्स की हो रही है. अगर एक आम लड़के से ही पूछा जाए कि पीरियड्स में क्या चाहिए होता है लड़की को, तो वो पैड्स ही बोलेगा. Every woman goes through, no two period cycles are the same and no two women are the same. तो कैसे एक ही प्रोडक्ट काम कर जाएगा आपके लिए हर बार?
And Deep, tell me one thing, I am sensing a very high amount of empathy in all the story that you're telling me. Why? Because it's the product that you started wasn't easy to sell.
Yeah.
It was a difficult category. It was a very new category altogether. But your empathy to the females was very high. So how did you get so much of empathy? Is there a story to that, or were you naturally inclined?
I don't know, man. I don't see it as empathy or something. I think it's just someone who sees this problem, and I feel strongly about wanting to solve it for my wife. I have 2 daughters, for my mother.
All of them are so lucky.
Yeah, man. Very lucky. And for all my team members, I think it's just about saying people are suffering, and touch wood for me, I don't mind trying new things.
Great.
Touch wood for me, the investors who backed us were not averse to me trying new things rather than just saying कि हम Me Too products launch कर देते हैं. So if everybody, God has been kind, so why should I not try to solve the problem with products that can solve it better? So I don't know if it's empathy or it is just saying there is a problem, there is a solution, let's try to bring out solutions which solves the problem to the best that it possibly can, rather than just trying to do a makeshift one. So अगर आपने पैडमैन की बात की जैसे, so if it's about menstrual flow, so pads की बात हो रही थी, we said नहीं, there are other products also that are available which can make period experience more comfortable. So tampons, cups, we are country's highest selling menstrual cups. Sirona के अंदर about 20 lakh women use our cups, 2 million women. So 5 साल पहले कुछ भी नहीं था ये number. Because the dialogue started around it, people started moving. There are similar numbers for everything. We recently acquired a pepper spray brand as well by the name of Empower for women's safety. Around 4 lakh women carry it. So the whole thesis right now is around जिस भी category में taboo है female hygiene को लेके, अगर हम उसके around products launch करेंगे, तो women need those solutions. They'll be the first ones to adopt. And our only job is to keep talking about it so that taboo breaks. So
That
so
is
that
where
the
you're also
anxiety,
working on
yeah,
the awareness part
100%, yeah, yeah.
along with your product, so that at
Absolutely.
least that communication that you're trying to present that
Yes.
goes through.
Yes.
And I think that the female category is females are also, it is a great thing that females are coming up for it and using
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
openly, and I think it is a great relief for them
Yeah.
in terms of travel, like because everyone is traveling right now. Travel has increased so much in the past
Yeah.
few years, and I
Yeah.
think your product is very nicely placed for a female to easily, like without any thought of anxiety or stress कि कैसे जाएंगे public toilet कैसे use करेंगे. I think they can easily go around.
या वो घर से बाहर, बात ट्रैवल की नहीं है कि आप इंटरनेशनल ट्रैवल कर रहे हो.
Correct.
एक आप अगर आप विद इन एनसीआर रह रहे हो, इवन इफ यू सिंग इन मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी विद इन इंडिया, you the minute you step out, the environment is fairly hostile.
Yeah.
You know, you have your own body related challenges that you are fighting maybe on a day when you are on period. If you are one of those who has period pain, if you're somebody who goes through a lot of hormonal, I would say, or PMSing for that matter, then for you, the day you on the day when you step out, the whole world is not there to make it easy for you from that lens. So our idea is कि कम से कम products हो जिससे आपका वो experience घर के बाहर का travel, the minute you step out of the house, anything to do with your hygiene should be available, and not through a makeshift product, but through whatever is the best for it. So अगर आपको intimate areas में rashes हो गए हैं, तो we have a natural anti-chaffing cream for those rashes for you.
Okay.
You know, and so on and so forth for everything. Period flow के लिए अगर world over 4 product available हैं, India also should give all the 4 options.
Yeah.
Who are we to just say that pads are the best product?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tampons, liners, cups. I personally, we as a company personally talk about cups more, but we give all the options. When it comes to period flow, any issue around that, rashes, disposal, stains, we give you all the solutions. You pick, but the solutions are there. And we do the same thing for people who can't afford it. So we run a foundation also, where we are doing these tutorials and videos and everything for upwardly mobile, yes, through YouTube, etc. But for the ones who can't afford our product, we run a foundation by the name of Sirona Hygiene Foundation, which goes to the remotest parts of the country and talks to underprivileged girls about the importance of menstrual hygiene, because उनके लिए तो स्कूल बंद हो जाता है.
Correct.
You know,
Correct. Everything goes off and no one talks about it. आपको कमरा बंद करना है, and a lot of things happen like it.
बहुत कुछ होता है यार. I think periods के around एक अलग ही
And I'm now able to connect these dots क्योंकि बचपन से my mother has been telling me घर से कहीं बाहर जाना just pee before you leave, because I think this is something she feels.
Yeah.
She has a concern with, because that is why females and like
Yes.
mothers and wives talk to their kids keep
toilet
pee before you leave.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
It happens a lot.
Or to pee or not to pee.
And I think that's the story behind it.
Yes, that's the story. Yeah, could be. That could be where it is.
No, because I have my mother is like नहीं अब पूरा रास्ता नहीं है, I'll go, मुझे घर लेके चलो, and then we'll pee. They hold it. They hold it for a very long
और
time.
उसकी वजह से UTI होता है. By the way, गंदे टॉयलेट से UTI
नहीं होता.
होने की
It is
probability,
holding.
yeah, is like none. Is almost zero. आपको UTI होगा because आप लोग, I mean, you know, as women, they don't drink enough water, they don't hydrate themselves enough, and then obviously hygiene.
They want to avoid everything liquid.
Yeah.
क्योंकि they want to avoid every toilet that is possible on the way. घर जाके या कहीं safe जगह पहुंच के they will be doing it or something like that.
So all this will cause anxiety, ना, right? आप सोचो अगर आप 6 घंटे का ट्रिप है, and yes, you've peed at home, but if you know you have to pee, then you're thinking. And if you get your periods, then you're thinking, you know, because पहले से pads की बात है और अगर pad लाना भूल गए आप, तो रुको, किसी से बोलूं, कहाँ से खरीदूं. So इसीलिए cups give you that empowerment यार कि आपके bag में ही है. You can use it anytime you want, and खत्म होने की बात नहीं है, because one cup can last you for 5 years, for 10 years if you use it well. So in many ways, the anxiety that is around these issues, around periods, around toilets, around sexual wellness, are there because there are lack of conversations, and because there's a lack of conversation, the products haven't evolved.
When you say lack of conversation, is the lack of conversation within the family, with the
Everywhere.
husband, or
Everywhere.
Like,
yeah,
which is the missing link? Like, is it in the education system? Or
यार, I think it's
everywhere.
हर जगह है यार. मतलब आप अभी मैं आपको बताता हूँ. So what we did was, you know, we created India's first, maybe world's first vending machine for all period hygiene products. So उससे पहले क्या होता था? When a girl gets a period, the only product that was available through, if there were vending machines, was pads. And we said, you know, who are we again to push one product? So we put pad, tampon, liner, cups, toilet seat covers, etc. And we partnered with Delhi Airport. And now, but the thing that we requested them to do was that the machine doesn't need to be inside. It has to be outside every washroom. outside every washroom, so that if you are walking with your mom and you're a young boy, you can actually ask her, oh, I know Pepsi vending machine very well. I know Coke vending machine very well. What is this machine?
Yeah.
So we need to normalize it to that level. Within homes, if you look at it, we need to normalize it by really talking to boys and girls and everybody about it. You know, when there's a headache, we say it so openly, we have a headache.
Yeah, it is exactly what happens in mental health
Yes.
space also.
Yeah.
People just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
If you get a fracture, people visit a doctor
Yeah.
immediately.
Yes.
No one visits a therapist.
Yeah.
And similarly in this space, if there's a problem,
Yeah.
people don't want to talk about
Yes.
fads and the
Yeah.
problems they have.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, like my wife got me this awareness. She started using Peabody, and we have also gifted it to our mothers.
You're so kind.
And we've
Thank you.
gifted it to our
Yeah, yeah.
mothers. So, and we sort of were educating them on this, what you are telling us. So we were like, please start using this
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, you're doing your part. Thank you for doing it though.
And Deep, apart from the amazing space that you have catered and the products that are very much needed, I want to understand about your entrepreneurship journey. How difficult was it, and what were the challenges?
Well, I think, yeah, so it is a lonesome journey, but being a eternal optimist, I believe it's easy if you follow the basic fundamentals. And I think now I have come to realize that there are 3-4 things that you need to do right to get any entrepreneurship right, you know. And those 4 for me is something that has come through in this journey. I've done a couple of more businesses before this, and I think Sirona Touchwood is a success because of many things. Obviously, some very, very kind customers, great team members, very supportive investors, and yeah, God has been kind as well. And but if I were to do something again, if you ask me, what are the things that every entrepreneur should provision for, is, I mean, number one, I would say, I believe 1,000 days. So by the time I started Sirona, this 1,000-day philosophy was clear that, you know, this will not be solved overnight.
Yeah.
Any good thing you're trying to do, 1,000 days is the least you need to
So it
give.
requires that persistence.
Absolutely, 1,000 days. You need to have that kind of space. From the day you crack your business, 1,000 days. And I think it's because first year goes into all the euphoria. Arey, apna business shuru kiya hai. Second year goes into
it is a hit business in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Second year you start realizing, oh shit, you know, some of these things have not worked. This is working. So you do course correction, which perhaps, you know, what we were just discussing before this. Third year you implement it, and by the end of third year, you know, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is what my strength is going to be. This is what I'm going to scale. You know, so 1,000 days.
So all the learnings happen in that space, and you have to be open to learn, I think.
Absolutely. So Sirona, similar journey. We thought we'll make Peabody will be one product, Sirona will be another. We launched 2 more brands, and we realized, you know, over the first 1,000 days, all the learnings happened. Ek brand kare, 2 brand kare. Today, house of brand is a thing. Back then, everybody asked us, why do you have 3 brands? And so those are learnings. There are heartburns that happen. You know, your co-founders leave, team members leave. All those things happen, and all that has happened with Sirona as well. Luckily for us, team members were always very, very thick. I think we were able to attract some very passionate people. But there have been ups and downs. So 1,000 days, number one. Number two, I think some learning around the way has been that I also had stumbled upon this concept of energy vampires early on in my career.
I've read this book on energy vampires.
Brilliant. I was told about this, a monk in New York by the name of Dandapani.
Okay.
And he's the one who talks about this concept of energy vampires, and I learnt about it. So Sirona ke time tak ye concept bhi pata tha, so this also played its part in keeping me calm. Otherwise, there is anxiety every day.
People can drain you out. There are people who can drain you out. You need to create your own guarding.
Yes.
In order to save your energy.
100%.
Because there will be people who will just burn you out, and eventually you will be left with sort of very low amount of energy to do something good.
Yes.
I think that is a very important thing.
Absolutely, Sirona was same.
One important thing, when you said ups and downs, tell me, for the viewers and for budding entrepreneurs of this country, how do you manage the downs? Because entrepreneurship brings in you a lot of downtimes initially, like you rightly mentioned. A lot of fear sets in कि बंद कर देते हैं. A lot of fear sets in कि नहीं होगा, नहीं चलेगा. How to contain that, and how is it only persistence? Is it what? Like, what is needed?
Yeah, to me, persistence is the only thing. Second is, don't get into comparison mode. आप अपनी journey में किसी और को देख के you should not evaluate yourself how you are doing basis how somebody else is doing. You know, we are all unique. We are all different on different journeys. We all bring different skills to the table. I think it's very important to just keep building on these two strength muscles to say, I will I will persist in the game. I'm not going to give up before these 1,000 odd days. I will do whatever it takes. And second, I'll not compare. Is दूर से दूर रहोगे, I think life pretty much gets sorted. And what we did, or what I do personally to ensure that I'm able to balance on both, is, the energy vampire, for example, is a hack.
Yeah.
Early on, when I started with Sirona, there were some people who I thought were my well-wishers, but personally for me were energy vampires.
Same.
At times it could be your partner, it could be your co-founder, it could be your team member, it could be your investor, it can be anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't necessarily mean you're bad. It's just that your way of, motivating me doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So you might mean my good, but just the way you say it doesn't matter. So I think this early on realization on energy vampires helped me disengage with some of the guys who I was able to understand are draining me out.
Like consciously do that.
Consciously, absolutely. And you have to do it. I would say you should make a list of people. You think about it that, there are some people who you meet and you immediately feel energized.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's some
you
people...
need to, I think you need to be aware, like you
Yeah.
need to understand energies before, like you need to
Yeah.
have that sense,
Yeah.
which can be your intuition, which can be something which helps you understand कि नहीं ये ठीक नहीं जा रहा है.
Absolutely. Basic gut है यार.
Basic
अब मैं आपको
gut
बता रहा हूँ, कई जगहों पे जब हम घुसते ही लगता है कि यार, oh, I like the energy of the
Yeah,
place.
yeah, it is.
कई जगह पे you feel, oh यार, I'm just
ठीक
not
नहीं लग रहा.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Similar happens with people. Some people you talk to and you're like, loved it, yeah. It's almost as if I've known him for 5 janams.
Yeah.
And there's some people you meet and you're like, why did I subject myself to this afternoon?
Yeah.
What did I subject myself to this afternoon? Why did I do this? Why did I commit to this meeting? Now, you can, in your personal, like in your people, if you make a list of people who you speak to, engage with on a daily basis, you'll be able to mark them into 2 buckets. One, who I can, who are my great, they give me a lot of energy. And guys who drain me out.
Yeah.
जो drain me out वाले हैं उसमें 2 लिस्ट बन जाएगी. एक the guys I can avoid and एक I can't avoid. The ones who you can't avoid could be, so when you think about it, let's say for example could be your mom. She means you're great, but she means you're good. But whenever she says, "अरे उसको देख वो क्या कर रहा है," it just puts you in a tailspin.
Yeah.
And she wants your good. She wants you to take inspiration from the other, but it doesn't work.
Eternally, like she wants it good, but
Yeah.
I think the way is wrong. The
Yes.
approach is wrong.
So when you start writing the names and you start thinking, is this person good for my peace of mind right now? And if the person is somebody you can avoid, then you completely switch off. But if you can't avoid, then you need to mindfully switch off after 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. कि 3 मिनट के बाद आप जो बोल रहे हो, यहाँ से सुन के मैं यहाँ से निकाल रहा हूँ. Because I need to maintain my sanity.
Yeah.
So I think during Sirona's journey, that learning came in almost fairly early, so I was able to keep myself positive using that. I also write one good thing of the day every day.
Okay.
And I've been writing it for the last 5 years.
Great.
Which
I also read your blog. It is on Medium.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
So, and I think these are some of those hacks जो खुद करने पड़ेंगे रोज.
And I think what you rightly said, and my personal understanding from that book was, and I faced it with a very close friend of mine.
Yeah.
I had to shut him off eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem was, I realized over time is that if you are an empath and a person starts consuming you, the problem, you start giving them energy.
Yeah.
And because empathy, if you don't understand the boundaries of empathy,
Yeah.
you can fall into the trap of getting overconsumed. And eventually you are left drained. You are आपको जिस सही चीज में एनर्जी लगानी थी वहां के लिए आपके पास बचेगी नहीं, because a wrong guy came in and consumed you.
Absolutely.
I think it is the empathy consumption that happens, and you need to guard it with some kind of, like you are telling this, make a list. Like you said 2 way. I really love the way you explained it. It should be like that, and that is something people should start doing that.
No, and writing good thing of the day also. So persistent. So 2 चीजें देखनी है देखो. एक है persistence कैसे build करें, एक है comparison के trap से कैसे निकले. Persistence build करने के लिए the only thing I need to do is when something hits me, a dejection hits me, I should have something to hold on to. जैसे आपके केस में therapist. When I am at my low, I need somebody to bail me out.
Yeah.
You need to first try to win over your mind to be that rescuer.
Absolutely.
Obviously नहीं हो रहा है, take external help. No shame in that. But if you really want to train your mind, these are some of the hacks. Hacks क्या है? पहले लिस्ट ही बना लेता हूँ ना कि अगर मेरी आपसे बात करके मुझे पता है कि मैं खत्म ही हूँ, I'll go negative. So let me avoid as much as I can. Now, if I'm talking to you, I'm closing my day and I've had a bad day, I still need to train my brain to look at one good thing that happened in the day.
Yeah.
हर रोज कुछ अच्छा होता ही होता है बॉस, आप उठ जाते हो वही बहुत बड़ी बात
That
है.
gives you motivation and it's the
Absolutely.
highlight.
Yeah, you wake up every day. I think who said, I don't remember, maybe Sadhguru said or somebody else said that every day 1 million people just die in their sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
getting up is a big gift.
yeah,
It's a gift for you.
you wake up, your family, touch wood, is fine. Your things are going well, and every day something good is happening.
So that grateful thing should
yes,
happen. Like you should be grateful
Yeah.
about little things also.
write it.
Right.
The muscle here needs to be built to say, I need to write one good thing of the day every day without fail. Before I go to sleep, I have to push my mind to look at the positive so that I end the day on a positive note.
So you write it every day?
Every day without fail.
Wow.
For 4 years, 5 years, it must be on the phone only, wherever my phone is.
Wow.
You know, there's one good thing of the day, date wise, it's captured. And the day when because I'm saying persistence again, the day things are not going according to how I want them to go, I just go through this list. You know, and it's magical. It completely says, "Okay, it's okay."
Because you
So
have
much
a
good has
complete
happened.
map of good and bads, and I think you can your good highlight, like maybe a core memory, can flip a lot of things around.
At the end of the track, ही तो change करना है ना यार.
Correct.
You need to just break the circuit. यार कुछ भी सही नहीं चल रहा है यार, पैसे भी नहीं है, करियर भी ऐसे घुस रहा है, बीवी से भी नहीं पट रही है, एम्प्लॉइज भी नहीं काम कर रहे हैं, और यार चल यार, you know, that day I made this meeting, this person liked it, I saved this life, this is what happened. Which track is constructive for me? Only this track, right? I need to keep myself positive, because out of the 4 things, 1,000 days minimum, keep yourself positive by keeping energy vampires away. Third is, you know, I mean, don't get into too much analysis paralysis. If you see all these things, the pattern that is emerging is that in each and everything, the player that you're trying to keep positive is yourself. You have to tell yourself, ki boss, Rome wasn't built in a day, give it 1,000 days.
It is like an anchor that you have for yourself, and it is a very good framework. Personally, I would love to even pick things from it, because as an entrepreneur, you have to have a framework to keep an eye at your vision. Don't lose that. While a lot of problems will come and go, I think they will always come and
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So if the 3-4 things to entrepreneurship are, if you see closely, 1,000 days is about telling yourself that patience.
Okay.
Don't get too much. Look at energy vampires is again for yourself. Keep yourself.
It can
positive.
be your co-founder also. In
Anybody, absolutely. Third, don't get too much into analysis paralysis. Also to say, follow your gut. There are things that data doesn't suggest, which you know.
Absolutely, and that is all the show is also about.
Absolutely, you need to. And number 4 is, you know, I mean, startup, you know, the journey is tough. So keep yourself positive as much as you can by following whichever hacks. This is also you. So everything is around you. And you are a sum total of how your mental framework is on that particular day. So whatever small hacks you can do to keep yourself positive, you should do it. And this is what we do at Sirona. This is what I've done as an entrepreneur. And that's why entrepreneurship, touchwood, has been a rewarding journey, because I know that it won't be done overnight. I picked up a very difficult category. It's a huge taboo that surrounds it. There are a lot of cases of, you know, people, competition, copying, and 100 things that keep happening. People being poached, approached, funding drying out, taking loan against your property, etc. All of that has happened, but there were always great cases of positive stories that have kept us going, and I think that's all that I would love to tell everybody to keep in mind.
Great. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you, Deep. I think it is something very valuable for the viewers and people who are budding entrepreneurs, at least.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching till the end. Please comment below and let us know the topics that you are interested in. We'll invite guests and discuss those topics in depth. And please like, subscribe, and share with at least one person, because your one share can help that person transform their life. Thank you so much.